What's going on, man?
Not much. What's up with you?
Oh, just living that life.
Yeah, is that so? Is that so?
Living that life. Enjoying life cereal every day.
Every day?
Not every day, but some days. Some days I like to pour
Okay.
myself a nice heaping bowl of life cereal.
As I say, don't, not every day. It's not good for you.
Remember when we used to do sketches and you'd be like, let's eat first. And I'd be like, I just had a big bowl of cereal. You'd be like, why did you eat a big bowl of cereal if you knew we were going to hang out?
Always.
I don't know, man. I've been eating cereal since I was a little kid. You know what I'm saying?
You're a cereal guy, huh?
I'm a bit of a cereal guy. You
Not
think?
me.
I know.
Not that I don't live that life.
What do you enjoy for breakfast? What does Tim like to eat for breakfast? What's his go-to?
Uh, Lately it's just been like yogurt with some granola, kind of my breakfast.
Keep it simple. That's
Breakfast
good.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy a little bit of oatmeal here and there as well. A little bit of.
Okay. Okay.
What you do is the key is you put in a dollop of peanut butter in the oatmeal and a little bit of milk, a splash of milk, Tim. Not too much
Oh,
milk.
is that the?
Yeah. Because if you put in too much milk, then it gets all watery and gross. You want a splash of milk. You know, you want a nice consistency, but nothing too viscous. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I guess I get what you mean.
and enjoy that with some coffee. Sometimes I haven't done that in a while. I'm unemployed again. My temporary job was temporary and it's over. So I am seeking new employment. I actually had a couple of interviews today. By the way, your face is looking really thin. Have you lost some weight? I'm being serious, by the way.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, looking good, man. That beard is it's kind of pointing down. It's thinning out your face. You know what I mean? When it goes
Yeah,
kind of like
I mean that's probably part of
yeah,
it too.
there you go, there you go.
But yeah, lost a good amount of weight in the past couple months, so I'll keep on trucking with that.
I had actually, I've not been drinking as much. I think I've had one beer in the last 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, I think I cut back too.
It sucks because I love beer still. It's not because I don't like it, believe me. It's because
Right.
you cut back on something that's got so rich in carbs, you're likely to lose, a little bit of that's carbs you're not consuming is what I'm getting at. So
Yeah.
now
It's not, I mean, people talk about carbs all the time, and I don't. It's not about carbs. It's about calories. Like realistically, like I get that carbs can be worse for you, but people like talk about carb. Oh, did you quit all carbs? People are asking me because I've lost weight, and I'm like, no, not at all. I haven't stopped eating carbs. Just eat less. Calories is what matters. It doesn't matter what they're coming from. Just eat less calories. Like,
Yeah.
That's But yeah, I get what you mean. It's calories. Beer is a lot of empty calories, and unfortunately, that's just how it goes. Been drinking some lighter beers here and there, so maybe that's a little bit better. But even still, like, yeah, I haven't been drinking as much,
Yeah.
So that has affected it as well. Been working out, getting back into it, which is nice. It's reminding me that I used to always love, like, being active and playing sports and stuff. So just kind of got in the rut of not doing it because, that's how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like instantly kind of want to beat up nerds more again. That kind of the jock side of me comes back out as I start to work out. And I was talking to my friend Quentin, who I've been on a bunch of podcasts with in the past. So people who know Quentin will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But
I know
he agreed with
Quentin
me.
Moody, right?
He's like, same thing. He's like, yeah, being a jock, it comes out a lot more as you work out. As you work out more and more, that kind of jock tendencies come back out.
I think your testosterone levels rise a little bit when you're working out. So,
Yeah, for sure. That's part of it. But like, testosterone rise, but like, if you have that memory, it goes back to like what you were like when you had the higher testosterone level.
Right.
know?
Let me ask you this: Is it harder because you're in a big city? You're in LA,
Mm-hmm.
much bigger than Denver. Is it harder to create a schedule where you give yourself time to work out because you're in such a big city, everything's so cramped together, and there's like
No, it's easy for me because there's a gym in my work.
oh, perfect, yeah.
So that makes it very easy. I've just been going early to get some like cardio right when I wake up. Drive to work early, work out for about 40 minutes. Usually, lately I've been doing about 30 minutes just on a bike, basically, and then doing about 10 minutes of just doing the weight machines and maybe some squats or some curls, or not curls, but the fuck do they call them? Crunches, stuff like
Clenches?
that. Crunches. Like
Crunches.
sit-ups.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then on my lunch before I eat, I'll do another like 20 minutes, usually either a mix of like 15 more minutes on the bike and then some more machines, or just straight 20 minutes of the bike, depending on how I'm feeling and everything.
That's
So
good.
just kind of mixing it up. What's up?
Yeah. Well, that's good. You got a little routine going. That's great.
But focusing primarily on cardio, because that's how you lose the most weight, right?
Yeah.
But I really was only doing cardio for the longest, and then I was having a lot of trouble raising my heart rate to the level like where I was actually getting like anaerobic, where I assumed I'd be burning fat. So I was like kind of concerned with that. So I started mixing in some free weights while I was doing the cardio to help get my heart rate more. That started working. Then I started getting concerned that like I'll have flabby, loose skin as I lose more weight. So I figured to fill it in by building up some muscle would probably be a good idea. So that's why I've been focusing a little bit more on that too, just to basically, yeah, for that. So that my skin doesn't end up looking all loose. It'll fill in with muscle while I burn fat,
Yeah.
is the idea.
That's good. I mean, it's pretty simple and straightforward, you know? Some people think, oh, you have to, like, do an hour on the treadmill and lift all these weights. And it's like, no, it's what you eat and combined with a little bit of working out, and you'll lose weight quickly. Now, are you tracking your calories and stuff, or what are you doing?
No, just eating less.
Just
it.
eating
Not
less?
really tracking anything.
You don't
Being
ha-
pretty.
Yeah.
What's up?
You don't have, like, a Fitbit or anything like that?
No, my phone, I guess, has some fucking health program on it that does weird stuff. It tells me that I walked enough that day, but it's like I take my phone off while I'm doing my exercise, so it's just counting like what I do extra throughout the day. So it's nice to have that because it does make me a little bit more cognizant of what I'm doing. So I have been like going out of my way to do a little bit more, like outside of just the working out, like a little bit extra longer dog walks and stuff like that, taking the stairs more often and things. It's just like the stupid gamification, but it's just like having it tracked makes you think about it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Well, if you ever do want to get a Fitbit,
This is not what people care about on this podcast.
I know. This is a cold open. Anyways, welcome to the show. This is Todd Beer. I'm your host, Adrian Dellatore. With me, as always, is Timothy Robert Buckner. Tim, how you doing tonight?
Fantastic. I've been doing good. We're talking about not drinking beer. I can't wait any longer. I got to start drinking beer.
Please do.
Damn it.
You know, we went to a baseball game a couple weeks ago, and analog.
I'm going to go at it with this big boy.
What is that? What kind of beer is that?
Been saving this for a while. Riesling Amphora Saison. So this was a special release from Modern Times. Now that we have a Modern Times here in downtown LA, I'm able to get their monthly special releases, and then I can pick them up
Nice.
locally, which is nice because it used to be if I wanted to get something from their special release, it would be like, oh, what are you going to do? I'm going to drive all the way to San Diego. So now that it's really easy, it's nice. This is I think it's a French Saison. It's got Pilsner and unmalted wheat hops. It's got aged Hersbuck and New Zealand Cascade, yeast, Saccharomyces, Brettanomyces, and Lactobacillus. They brewed this Saison. It's a delicate, surprisingly delicate Saison. And then what they did was they added in fresh pressed Riesling grape juice, which makes Riesling wine. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a white wine. And then they aged it in the clay amphors, which are like, I don't know if you know what those are, but it's like in some places, instead of aging wine in barrels, they age them in these clay pots that allow more minerality to soak into the wine and give it like a rounder mouthfeel. So this is kind of a hybrid wine beer situation. I believe it was also a collaboration with someone else, but it doesn't say on here. Modern Times can be kind of bad about that, where they don't list who they collaborated with. You have to like look stuff up to see. It also might not be a collaboration. It might be just them. But yeah, I've been meaning to drink this. Had it for a little bit. I like that it's a wine beer hybrid. I've been into those lately. I don't know if you've been trying anything like that lately, but they're popping up more and more places are doing mixes of that. You really see the like nice champagne bubbles, thin body, no head really. This is an interesting one. So yeah, that's why I was saving this one special just in general, and then I figured, hey, it's been a while since we recorded. Might as well pop her open tonight, right?
Might as well.
I can't share it with you, but I can kind of share it with you on the podcast.
There you go. That sounds delicious, by the way. Saison sounds really refreshing right now. It's been cooling down here in Colorado. I don't know how it is out there where you are, but I still get hot easily. I still, sweat like a pig. So Saison sounds really refreshing. How is it?
Yeah, it's not as hot as it was, but it's still pretty warm.
Um, yeah, well, I was going to say, I went to a baseball game a couple weeks ago, and we got free tickets to get a beer or whatever, and they had just the usual stuff, but the only thing non mainstream or whatever they had was New Belgium was there, or not New Belgium, sorry, God damn it, what's that? What's the Blue Moon? Blue Moon. They had Blue Moon, and
oh jeez,
I know, but you know what? I got a Coors later on for my wife because I thought maybe she would want that, and I was like, I would have preferred a Blue Moon. So I forgot what good Blue Moon is, and we went to Costco the other day and bought like a big pack of Blue Moon beer. It's like Blue Moon, and they have like some kind of they have like two different other flavors or like fruit flavors, whatever. They're pretty good, but yeah, just good old fashioned Blue Moon does the trick every time. I think if you're kind of in a bind, if you have no other choice. But anyway, enough about that. How's that one? That one's got sounds pretty good.
This is nice. The minerality is definitely there. You get that kind of rounder electrolyte kind of feel, when you drink like a Gatorade or something that has like those minerals and stuff in there. Kind of get that mouth feel, really round, really full, but then crisp, biting. So it's nice where it's not heavy in the roast. It's a really light backbone, but it has a full mouth feel. It's really, really good balance.
Sounds like a good balance. Sounds delicious. All right. Well, I can go bust out one of my beers really quick if you want, or we can go on a break. What do you think?
Yeah.
This is one of the ones I was telling you about. This is by Blue Moon. This is their Pacific Apricot Wheat.
Okay.
I think have I had this one? I think I have. Let's try
Blue
it again.
Moon is owned by like Coors now, isn't it though?
Is it? Let's see.
I think so.
Blue Moon Brewing, based out of Golden, Colorado. Let's see. They probably are. I don't see any indication on the bottle that they are, but you may be right.
They probably are.
Yeah. It's not the best. Blue Moon, I mean, like I said, like for me, it's a beer that if everything else is Coors or Bud Light, I would settle for a Blue Moon. And it comes to fruit flavors. I like when breweries do that, but it really depends on how they balance it. So let's see how this one is. That's good. That's actually balanced really well. The apricot flavor, comes through. It's good.
Yeah.
I think makes sense with like a wheat beer having fruit flavors and stuff. The only thing is, honestly, you have to drink this really cold because once it starts to get warm, I feel like the apricot flavor kind of tastes gross. I don't know if that's maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just weird, but you have to really drink this like really cold, so drink it really fast. But anyways, besides all that, as we were saying earlier, it has been a while. Is there anything else exciting in your life that you wanted to talk about tonight?
No, I don't know. I mean, not much, man. Honestly, it's fucking weird. Like, I don't know. Kind of boring. Yeah. Went to a DSA meetup just yesterday.
What's that?
Democratic Socialists of America.
Oh, really?
They were doing more of like just a meeting. It was just like a hangout kind of thing, though. It wasn't like party.
Right.
Like business, really.
Well, I'm curious. What went down? What did you do there?
Just kind of hung out and talked to a couple people, and then they were like talking about initiatives that they're working on and stuff. It was funny because it was supposed to be, like not business, but that's kind of seemed to be a major part of it. Because all those people are interested in that stuff, so that's what they're going to want to talk about, even when they're supposed to be just hanging out,
Right.
Let's talk to someone about like homeless, kind of the homeless epidemic and like helping people with squatters' rights and letting them know like what rights they have, and even there's like a program where the people film when they do the sweeps of the homeless camps to kind of like just document what's going on to make sure that they're not doing anything, that the cops aren't doing anything illegal or just being overly aggressive towards them. So I was telling them, like, there's a camp that's been right in front of our apartment for a long time. It's got sweeped a few times, so we'd be interested in kind of giving them some kind of information so that they can know their rights and be protected and stuff like that. So look into that. And then it looked like another guy was talking about that or another person, I guess I should say, was talking about that they're looking for people who are members of unions to be part of a labor caucus within the DSA to talk about. So I was like, I'm in the union, so I'd like to join up with that and be a part of the labor caucus for that. So probably look into being involved in that at least, because they said that they were having issues with having enough people who were in unions to sit on the board to talk about, like, kind of getting DSA politics involved in the unions more directly. So I was like, I'd be very interested in doing that. I'd like to help, like, push my union to get involved with DSA actions.
Right. It's funny. I know LA has a huge homeless problem. A lot of big cities do, and Denver's no exception.
I mean, it's a housing crisis in general.
Yeah,
So it's not just the homeless, but also like finding housing and affordable housing and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, so here in Denver, in downtown, there's an area called Rhino, which stands for River North. It's like a cool hipster, I don't know, gentrified name that they gave it, right? But before it was gentrified, it was a pretty shitty part of town.
What about Gyno for the fellows? It's Gyno.
It was a pretty shitty part of town before they gentrified it, from what I read. But since it's become more developed and, they've put in new apartments and homes and things like that, the more affluent people that live there are complaining about the amount of homeless people that are around there. But it's like, you have to understand, like, these homeless people have always been here. You're just now noticing it, but they've always been here because this used to be a crappy part of town. And on top of that, you have like 5 homeless shelters right around the corner from where this is. And, what do you expect is going to happen? What I mean? Like, don't judge the homeless people for being homeless. That's just a part of life, unfortunately, and it really sucks. But that's just the truth. That's just the way it is, I know some places
and the sweeps, like, I'm saying out here, like, they do the sweeps and they tell people to move and they grab all their stuff and all this, and it's like, where are they supposed to move to?
Right.
That doesn't fix the problem in any way. Having the cops come and bust up the homeless camp and tell them that they have to move doesn't then magically make them have a place to live.
Yeah, they're just going to move somewhere else. They're going to set up camp somewhere else.
Yeah, you're not fixing any problem with that.
No. I mean, not to get too much into it, but I know Salt Lake City a few years ago, they basically not solved the homeless problem, but they tried to rectify the situation by giving homeless people homes. And believe it or not, it helped a lot. I mean, I know that
shocking. No way.
That probably can't be done everywhere or for everyone, but it's a step in the right direction, I think.
You can at least try, right? Like, you can at least try to do something that's positive.
Yeah, but that's interesting that you're part of that. That sounds I don't know. I had this discussion with somebody on Facebook the other day about socialism, and she was saying, well, socialism didn't work in Venezuela. I'm like, yeah, Venezuela is a shit country because of a shit government that's corrupt as hell. And a lot of that has to do with U.S. interference in Latin America, which has been going on since like the 60s and 70s. I mean, we've gone down. There was a guy I saw in an interview once where he basically said, like, yeah, my job is to basically go into Latin America or go into poor countries and basically say, hey, we'll buy all your resources and stuff like oil and whatnot, but you're gonna have to, like, do what we say. Like, you're gonna have to, like, kind of toe the line of being against certain things like socialism, which is like a huge, which is such a dirty word in American politics right now. I think it's terrible because when people think of socialism, it's like their first thought is what, like communism, like, oh, Russia and Cuba and how those countries failed.
I don't think it's that bad anymore, but it was.
It seems
that way.
It seems like there's more of a resurgence now, but for a while there, it seemed like socialism was a dirty word. Like, you can't say socialism in American politics because, You just can't, because the idea of having that in the U.S. just wouldn't work.
Yeah, I mean, I considered myself a socialist from very early on. So I don't know. I think like our generation, it was more acceptable from the beginning. But I do think that there was a time not that long ago when it was a bigger deal.
Right.
You know, I remember I had a chemistry teacher that like would get in arguments with me about like my promotion of being like considering myself a socialist in high school. You know, she was from like Romania or something and made a big deal about how terrible it was. I'm just like, that's anecdotal evidence. It's like you can point out places where democracy doesn't work. Like, was it Italy with the really scuzzy prime minister who like has all the fucking like the women and the parties where they like fuck all these young women and all this stuff. It's like, that's a democracy. Is that good that he's taking government money and using it for those things? And does that make all democracies bad just because that one person is exploiting democracy that way? It's the same thing with socialism. It's like to say, oh, well, because in Russia it didn't work, or like even the people who try to point out that like how Venezuela, the issue in Venezuela is socialism, when it's like, that's not, the issue in Venezuela is not socialism. The issue in Venezuela is that OPEC countries are trying to fuck them because they don't like that they're taking advantage of what resources they have for the betterment of the society instead of just going, you know, lockstep with the OPEC. So it's like these concepts where they're like, oh, socialism is so terrible. Like, is anyone fucking complaining in Switzerland? Like, people love those Nordic countries where everything is great and they're super socialist.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
And let me ask you this, and I don't know if you know, but I'm curious. Can you scale socialism to the size of a country like the U.S.? Because Switzerland is not a big country. And that's the other argument people would make, you know?
I mean, yeah. Yes, but the thing is, like, socialism is really like a nebulous concept. So it's like to say scaling socialism, it's like our government can stay relatively the same and just have more socialistic policies. And that's enough for me. Like, we're talking about housing. Like, Medicare for all, right? Like the idea that everyone is entitled to health care, you know, housing is a human right. Those things are socialist policies, and we could incorporate stuff like that into the government that we already have. And so it's, yeah, I think like easily you could just like adapt that stuff. Like, we already have socialistic policies in place. What do you think Social Security is? That's socialism, you know? Right. Medicare itself is socialism. Like, these things are socialist. Like, the idea that the good of the many should be paid for by the people who have money to pay for it. But, you know, like, welfare is socialism, and it works, and people are happy to have it. Like, unemployment is a form of socialism. Like, so yeah, like, I do think that you could incorporate a more socialistic principles into the government that we already have in America pretty easily.
Right. And it's funny you mentioned sorry, what was the thing you said before unemployment? Food stamps, or not food stamps, but welfare. 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 People will quickly judge people who are on welfare and stuff, right? But what about the people? Right. What about the multi-billionaire CEOs that like get all these? They have they have golden parachutes, and they get all these perks and benefits, and they rob people blind. You know, their companies that rob people blind. Like the banks and stuff during the housing crisis and whatnot, all that the huge bailout that they got. How come no one said, hey, why are you giving the CEO of this bank that just robbed us blind a bonus when we're like hurting right now? We're going through a fucking recession. You know, no one complained about that.
I mean, people do say it, but
not enough people say it.
But even bigger people don't talk about corporate welfare.
Yeah.
You know, like, people complain somewhat about stuff like that, but like you said, people will shit on a person for being on welfare, but people don't really talk about corporate welfare, which is like exists in a big way. Right now, there's a fight right now with the city of Anaheim and the Disney Corporation, because Disneyland is in Anaheim, right? People are kind of, Anaheim is synonymous with kowtowing to Disneyland. Disneyland is trying to build a luxury hotel in a certain area near Walt Disney World or whatever, and they're taking all this time. They're getting this huge tax break from the city of Anaheim, and then finally they've been working on this stuff, and then they've decided, well, we actually want to do it. It's like a block or two away, basically. And they're like, now we're going to do it over here instead of where we originally said we're going to do it. And so Disney is now saying, well, if you don't give us those tax breaks, then we're just not going to do it. And so the city, so it's like, why does the fucking Disney Corporation need a handout from the city of Anaheim to give them tax breaks? It's welfare. It's corporate welfare. It's saying, oh, we're going to, support you because you're saying you don't have the money or the ability to do this, when we all know that they fucking do, and they're just choosing not to. That's even worse, because people who are on actual welfare need the fucking money because they don't have a job, they don't have any other way of supporting themselves, and people look down on that. This is corporate welfare to the tune of like a corporation saying, well, we would just like to have more money. We all know that they can afford to do it. They can still build it. And the whole thing is kind of scary because the way that they're saying is, they're like, well, now, the city of Anaheim is trying to pass an ordinance that's a living wage ordinance that would require any kind of service industry job to pay people a minimum wage of $15 an hour. But one of the contingencies on it is that if you have to have you have to be getting some kind of city benefit. So Disney is saying, like, well, if you aren't going to give us that tax break, then we're not going to have to give people the $15 an hour. And it's like, well, you're still getting other benefits from the city. We're just taking one thing away, but they're trying to play hardball with them with that. And it's fucking ridiculous because, yeah, people don't talk about this like in the mainstream as much, or look down on the Disney Corporation. People say, oh, they're smart because they're just trying to make the most money for the stockholders or for the shareholders or, for the people on Wall Street. They're not talking about how fucking shitty that is, like how bad that is for society. Like that's the bigger thing. And it's welfare basically. And no one bats an eye at corporate welfare.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. I heard some rumblings about that a while ago. And yeah, it amazes me that a company like that, is demanding so much. But I mean, I guess I understand the city of Anaheim's point of view at the same time, because I'm sure Disney brings in a lot of tourism dollars into the city. But at what point do you cross the line into just kowtowing to the corporation, not instead of worrying about how this is going to affect the city as a whole, right?
Yeah, and the community. I mean, you're letting this company basically take over your entire town and be the community that you have, like basically, rather than having any kind of support for the people who live there.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating stuff, and this is the kind of shit that goes on all the time in this country, especially. But I just find it funny how people always they always want to put down people who they perceive as beneath them, whether it's homeless people, whether it's people on welfare, poor people, whatever, people in poverty. You gotta pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. You gotta work hard, and that's how it goes. But that's not how it works for everybody. Not everybody can just do that. You know what I mean? I mean, you and I we're still relatively young.
No, I mean what?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, what were you saying? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that people like you and I, maybe that works better because we're young, we're able-bodied, and this and that, but not everybody has that benefit. That's all. It's not
right. Yeah, and I mean, look at your situation. I mean, what the fuck is going on? You've been like off and on with work for all this time, and why? The place you were just at, why? I mean, we and you actually even talked about this a little bit, but like, why is it a temporary position that they then are just going to rehire with another temporary person, right?
Yeah. Well, that's a way to save money because you don't have to give somebody benefits.
Yeah. It's fucking bullshit. It's bullshit, right? Like, am I wrong? That's not bullshit. Like, you're taking advantage of this. What? It's about the community, and like it's penny. Like, it's a drop in the bucket for them to be able to take advantage of. How many people do they do this with? You know what I mean? They have like one or two positions that they keep with a temporary person so they don't have to give them benefits. What's the big difference?
Yeah.
One extra employee with benefits is going to bank for them?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, and you, like, unfortunately...
No, I don't know. I don't know. I agree with you, though.
Yeah, and you kind of have been, like, going from place to place, it seems. Like, different weird shit happening, and it's just...
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, it doesn't seem like Colorado's in a bad way.
No,
like,
there's not a lot of...
The economy's pretty good.
The economy's great here, though. Unemployment rate is actually one of the lowest in the nations, I think, from last I read. But I don't know. There's not. I work in media primarily, and there's not as many media jobs out here as there is jobs of other industries. Like if I could go back in time, right? There's so many tech jobs out here. Like if I was a programmer, if I knew how to code and shit, I could get a job like that. Like I could get a job. So many companies out here. They're always, whenever I go to apply for a job, that a media related job or any kind of job, I always see in their job listings there's always some kind of a job related to programming, related to tech, basically. So if I was in that, if I had that skill set, I get a job easily. But I work in media, and those jobs are scarce. If I was in California, it'd be a different story. If I was in LA, oh man, I could get a editing gig like that because there's a ton of that in LA. There's so much of it.
Yeah, but a lot of it's freelance out here, right?
It is a lot of freelance. Yeah, that's the thing about that's the funny thing about LA is that there's a lot of work for media related type jobs, but most of it is freelance stuff. Not a lot of people out there hire like a full-time staff position. That just doesn't exist out there. Those jobs are hard to come by. And that's why people who are already in the position where like they're in a union and they have like a full-time staff job, like they're in it for life because those jobs they're sacred, basically. You're talking about unions and stuff. I mean, LA's a big union town. There's with the entertainment industry, there's tons of unions out there.
Right.
But it's hard. It's hard to get something steady. Like someone asked me the other day when I went in for an interview, like, "What's your career goal?" I told them, like, honestly, my career goal is to find something steady, something that I know I'll still be working in a year from now.
And stay there.
But enough about my problems.
We're talking about all problems. I think it's good to talk specifically about yourself. You know, like. This is big picture stuff. We're already breaking down how there's issues, but like, how do you relate to it?
Yeah.
Like, specifically you.
Yeah, and I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, the problem isn't me. I blame the system and stuff like that. I don't want to be like that because.
Why not?
I feel like I would feel like I'm using it as a crutch, and I don't want to use something as a crutch. But that's not to say there isn't a problem inherent in the way things are right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the system's fucked up, dude. Like it's not like you're just rolling over and taking it because you're saying that the system is fucked up. But I mean the system is fucked up. Like it's wrong the way that things are done. The stock market's not the economy. Our economy has been completely taken over by the stock market, and people care more about paying off the shareholders, and CEOs are taking their bonuses in the form of stock, and so then that's the only thing that matters, and that's speculative, and it's supposed to be the concept of like the future earnings of the company. It's not now. It needs to be focusing on now. It's like this weird hybrid where most corporations worry insanely about right now in the bottom line, but then how it pertains to future earnings and money in the stock market, but they don't want to stop and think about the future when it comes to global warming or what's tenable for the future of society and all that. So it's like weird. Like, why is the concept of the future of money is a viable thing to care about, but the concept of thinking about the future of the planet is not? And it's fucking insane. Like,
No, you're right. I mean, I joke all the time, like, our grandkids are going to ask us, what is oxygen? What is...
if they're even around.
If they're even around, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of short-term thinking. And
people are living longer and longer, but it's fucking weird because it's like, what's the point when the planet's doomed?
Right.
Like, you're going to keep living to see the end of the world?
Living longer and longer, and... It's just getting worse, We're kind of past the point of no return when it comes to the environment. There really isn't much you can do to backtrack climate change. But
no, and then the stuff with the Tesla and Elon Musk flame up is fucking wild because people were talking like Tesla was gonna save the planet, and now this fucking guy is going off the deep end and showing his true colors, that it's all about money to him in the end. And the fact that he's losing money on his stock has pissed him off to the point where now he's not gonna save the planet because he's mad that people don't think that his fancy electric cars are super cool. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, I always had a weird feeling about Elon Musk, and then I saw the shit that went down with him calling that guy a pedophile out of nowhere. and then just kind of having a meltdown on social media, going after people who disagreed with him and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're the face of this company. You're the face of 3 companies.
Multiple companies.
Well,
yeah.
multiple Tesla, the Boring Company, and your fucking Hyperloop company. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you need to like calm the fuck down.
SpaceX. You didn't even mention SpaceX.
SpaceX. Yeah, there you go. Space. You need to like just get off of social media, because if we've learned anything in the past 10 years, is that social media is toxic.
Log off.
It's toxic as hell. You know, you shouldn't fucking use
although
it.
You're one to talk because you live by the edict of never stop posting, don't you?
I used to. I've gotten better, I think, over the years. But then again, I didn't know what kind of an impact social media could possibly have. Like back when I first got a Facebook and a Twitter and stuff. Like I never knew the kind of ramifications of what it could mean. You know what I mean? But now it's like prospective employers will check your Facebook. They'll check if you have a Twitter, an Instagram, whatever. People have gotten fired for nothing, over posting stupid shit on Facebook. It's like, now it's like, it's everything. It's like, it's everything about you, because they may not know you as a person physically, they may have never met you, but their first impression of you isn't meeting you anymore. It's what you say online, you know? And I've learned that the hard way myself. I'm not going to lie. Like, when I was in Palm Springs, you know, my boss one time brought me in. He said, I saw what you said on Facebook about this person. You can't be saying that kind of stuff. If you say stuff like that again, you know, there's going to be consequences. Do you understand? And I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I absolutely do.
And then you went right on to Twitter and started posting about that shit.
And what's funny is I've changed my Twitter name. I don't use my picture. I've like scrubbed any links that lead to even this podcast or anything that could be linked back to me, because I'm kind of paranoid that somebody will find that too and then use that to judge me as a person. You know what I mean? Because that's the first step to knowing anything about someone is their social media. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. But that's why.
Well, yeah,
but you know what?
Most media companies don't want to hire ironic racists to do video editing for them.
Well, hold on. But see, the thing is, I'm not the CEO of a multi-million-dollar corporation. That's why I'm saying, like, if you're Elon Musk, you just stay off of social media, because you're gonna. Well, look what happened to Tiger Woods. Look what happened to that politician, something Weiner. What was his name? Mark Weiner or something? Weiner. The guy that sent a dick pic to a follower of his or whatever on Twitter.
Yeah, Richard Weiner.
Something
Dick
like that.
Weiner.
Look what happened to them. Like, those guys, you know, they got burned. You know.
Or is it Richard Spencer?
That wasn't Richard Spencer.
No, I think I'm confusing the two.
But yeah, stay off social media. That's the lesson to be learned here, kids. Just if you want to follow your friends and see what they're up to, be passive in your social media habits. Don't be active.
Like really commit, get face tattoos, and be a SoundCloud rapper, and just like that's the only thing you can do. You better hope it works out, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's like at this point, what's like fucking Little Xan gonna do if his rap career flames out? You know. Like, he's not going to be able to just get another job.
Right. Oh, man. I can't even keep up anymore with how many rappers and trap artists there are out there. But apparently there's a lot.
Yeah, man. It's fun. It's fun. Like, it feels like, we talked about it a few times, but it feels like finally kind of my predictions are starting to come true, that things are coming back around where stuff is a lot more adult-oriented.
Yeah.
Content, and things are getting a little bit edgier. And I think people are blaming it on Trump, but I think that Trump is a symptom and not really the cause, because I had been, I've been saying this for a while. Like, you know that's true, that I said that it's going to swing back eventually, and people are just fucking sick of all the kiddie bullshit. And like, it's happening. I mean, realistically, like, rap is getting like fucking mean and scary again. Shows are like pushing the envelope about stuff. It's a nice mix too, because it's like a lot of things are still able to be like kind of woke and like get like social conscious, but then also be like a little bit avant-garde and pushing the limits, which is nice, because it's like then it doesn't have to hurt everyone, like someone's feelings, or be like shitty, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that to a point, but you could also make the argument that things are only getting that way because of the anti-PC movement, right? This idea that you can't say certain words or phrases because they offend a specific group of people, whether that's people in the LGBT community or people of a certain race or people of a certain whatever kind of background. Like you have to be so careful not to offend anybody that people are pushing back against that. And like you said, Trump is not so much a cause but a symptom because in an age of anti-PC culture, quote unquote, it makes sense for somebody like him to come out of the woodwork and be like, this is what I feel about this. This is what I have to say. I don't give a shit who it offends. You know, let's not give in to these snowflakes as they like to call them or whatever. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, don't you think there's some?
Well, I mean that's why I say I like the dirtbag left kind of edict, which I feel like I like to consider myself at least somewhat part of the dirtbag left, kind of person, which is like, yeah, like there's some things that I think maybe are a little bit too far, but there's also some things that I think haven't been taken far enough, like last night when we were at the DSA thing, one of the people introduced themselves and like they mentioned like, their name, which I forgot their name, and then said like she, her, and they had like a little bit of stubble. And they were like, yeah, like I think that it's important that, we remember to normalize when you introduce yourself saying your pronouns, because I don't want to get misgendered just because I haven't had a couple of days of like not shaving. And when they were talking and all that, and like we were talking, I was like, oh, like I didn't have to, but I felt like if I was going to be prompted to like introduce and say my pronouns, I was kind of like, I've been thinking about it a little bit, and I was like, I think I feel more comfortable like with the they them pronouns personally, because I don't really relate to like being just like a completely binary male, and so I like that that's like at least somewhat more acceptable.
Right.
To say that. Like, I don't consider... I'm not saying that I consider myself trans, but I don't consider myself 100% like male, and I think that it's like normal. Like, I kind of like the idea of being more gender neutral, personally. And I like the idea that like that's something that you can say,
Right.
And so like I do think that that's like not PC culture's gone too far, but there are some things that are a bit much where it's like, people want to say the F word, and not fuck, but the F gay slur, and they don't mean like gay people, like they mean just like that something is stupid. Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm just fucking around. I'm kidding about that.
I know you're kidding, but
you know what I mean. Like, there's certain things, and like it's hard for me too because I try to not say the R word, but it comes out from time to time still, because I also have like the history of like using that word when it comes to like automotive stuff and like cars and things like that, or like using that when it comes to like statistics and things, where it's like it has a meaning. Like the word has a real meaning other than just people with like mental handicaps or whatever, like mental differences. So it's like it is tough to then be like, well, anytime you say it, it's a slur, because it's like it's kind of not. Like sometimes it means something else, and it doesn't necessarily mean a slur. It just means like a prescriptive term that actually means something. Like it actually has a meaning other than just those people, or the idea of those people.
No, definitely. That's the thing, is like where you just have to. It's all about context, right? Context matters so much when it comes to certain words and phrases, I think. But yeah, I don't know.
The idea that like PC culture has run amok, it's like, has it really though? Like that's another thing too. I like when I heard people complain about trigger warnings, like, oh, trigger warnings, everyone's so they're too. Everyone gets their feelings hurt too easily. And I'm like, to me, trigger warnings feels like it's the opposite of the idea that everyone gets their feelings hurt. It's like a trigger warning is the point is like understanding that that people are going to get their feelings hurt by something and just giving them a warning, as opposed to in the past, they would just get their feelings hurt and not know, or not say it out loud, or not be warned. Like it's not causing people to be more upset by things. It's just actually acknowledging that people get upset by things. Like it doesn't make any sense that people who get upset about the concept of trigger warnings. It's
right.
Like, it's it's yelling timber when a tree's falling in the forest.
Right.
That doesn't make the fucking tree fall down. That just lets people know that the tree is falling down.
Right. You have to pick and choose your battles. You know what I mean? Some things are just not worth fighting over. If someone wants to give a trigger warning, I have no problem with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's funny. There was a political ad by this politician that actually won, the conservative on the right side of things, and he basically said like, I got a big truck and I'm going to use it to round up illegals and send it back to Mexico. Yep, I just said that. I'm like, oh
the edgy racist.
The edgy racist.
Edgy
yeah, it's like this is where we're at now as a society. These politicians are like, it's open game. I can say whatever I want because I'm going against the grain or whatever. It's like, no, dude, like you're just making yourself look like an idiot. But you know what? He won. He won the election to give him credit. But what does that I don't know. Like what does that say about us as a society?
Well,
That's where we're at.
It's like instead of dog whistle racism, it's like fucking fire engine siren racism. It's like they're being out in the open with it, but then under the guise of like it's edgy, and I'm just saying what everyone thinks. And it's like politicians are turning into like bad fucking 90s improv comics. Like bad like hacky fucking comics in front of the brick facade or whatever. Like,
except they're not funny. That's the thing. They're not.
That's the worst part.
They're unintentionally funny, but they're not meant to be funny, right?
And then the other side of it is that comedians have to be fucking politicians. Like comedians have to like talk about the social issues and can't just be fun. So it's like both are now not funny. Politicians are trying to be comedians and they're not fucking funny. And comedians aren't funny because they're trying to be politicians. And what the fuck? Like, can't we just? Why are we mixing that whole side of things? When did people decide that comedians had to be the voice of
reason
society? Like am I crazy that that's not what's happened?
I mean, yeah, I never thought I'd see a world where Andrew Dice Clay would be the voice of reason.
Right, exactly. Like, what the comedy is just supposed to be like in some ways an escape, and in some way like George Carlin I get was like political, or like fucking Bill Hicks are political, but I didn't feel like they were like espousing how to fix society. No. They were just talking about issues, and then making light of them.
Yeah.
And now it's like every comedian has to try to fix the world. And it's like me and you don't really do comedy anymore, but I always feel like I kind of have my toe in that world,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have friends that you've had friends and we've had guests on our old show that were comics and we were in that world, at least on the outside looking in, talking to people who were a part of it and stuff. And I don't know, I can't imagine I can't imagine doing stand up now. Like I was thinking about maybe there's a open mic type thing that that's every week in a certain bar here in Denver, but it's like I don't even know what kind of material would I do. Like I don't even know what's even funny anymore. Like I know what's funny to me because I know what makes me laugh, but I don't know.
Right.
It would be tough to come up with a routine because it's like in this day and age, in this climate that we're in, what's even like what's kosher? Can I joke about certain things? Is that kosher, or is that going to offend somebody, or is that going to just like, I don't know, man. Like I don't want to joke about Trump because that's been done to death already,
Right, and it's really hard to even make jokes about him because he's already the ultimate parody of himself, which is insane. But like, I feel like half the fucking comedy shows I go to now, or shows, are like something else. Comedians doing something else. Like the other day I went to one and it was like comedians reading stuff from their diaries. And it's like, it's not stand-up. Like Kyle Kinane was there and he just brought like old notes from old jokes from when he was younger and stuff. He's like, I didn't really keep a diary, but I have all this. And he just kind of went through his old stuff. But it's like, it's like distant. It's like other. It's like a step out of comedy.
Yeah.
Slightly. And like kind of almost making fun of the concept of stand-up comedy in this way, or like the other ones that were like actually reading diaries. It's like taking something foreign from comedy and just kind of like dipping your toe into the comedy world, but it's not comedy. It's like it is fucking weird. I saw another comedian recently and he was doing an opening set and he was like opening for like Mark Maron, which is obviously tough as fuck. But like one of his premises, I was just like, this is, how are you, it's in the climate, in the political climate that we're in right now, in the world that we live in, how is your fucking joke premise like, man, I'm really bad with girls? That's what he said. That was his setup for his joke. And I'm like, on top of this just being super hacky and played out, like, it feels like something you shouldn't even talk about. Right. In like a post-Me Too world where like people are talking about fucking guys just like bothering women and like rape and all this. Like, you being bad with girls is a fucking terrible premise. No one's like oh, I feel bad for this guy because he's annoys girl. And then he tells the joke, and then I was talking to Alicia about it afterwards, and I was like, the premise took me out of it completely. And then we're talking, and she's like, that joke could have not been about being bad with girls. It was just that he was awkward. It didn't have to be that he was hitting on this chick. It could have just been he was trying to have a conversation with her, or just trying to talk in general and be like, I'm really awkward, and I try to talk to people, and I have such a hard time. I get so in my head. And you could even say, like, it's a girl who's, like, kind of cute, and I don't, whatever. But, like, it doesn't have to be that you're trying to pick up on her for what the joke was. So it's like, why would you even say that as your premise in the way that the world is now? It doesn't make any sense. Like, again, like I said, it's like, we're beyond the concept of, like, for me, I always feel weird. Like, I'm like so happy that I'm married now, because I couldn't imagine trying to go up and talk to a woman in this day and age, because I just feel so fucking bad about the whole idea of it. I'm sorry for bothering you. You know what I mean? Like, how do you even start talking to a woman, or not even just a woman, but like anyone that you're interested in that way? Like, how do you even think about starting to talk to them? Let alone like pickup lines or any of that stuff. So it's like that part of the joke is like already like insane to me that you would even say something like that. So yeah, like it's just wild. This is fucking wild.
You know what? Especially nowadays with incel culture. Not. I wouldn't know if culture is the right word, but I'm sure you know what incels are, and like that whole thing. You know what I mean? It's like
I'm a proud volcel.
It's made everything so. They've made it even more toxic. Because those guys, the shit they believe, man, it's insane to me that there are people out there.
I like the redistribution of pussy concept. I feel like you could pivot that into redistribution of wealth really easily. Just explain to those guys like, hey, instead of saying that women should just have to give you sex, how about if you should just have to give money to people who don't have it, and then when women are everyone is on equal playing, then like women will be more open to just fucking whoever, and then you don't have to be like a rich guy who looks good and all this. She might just like be into it just because it'll be fun.
Yeah, I know. It's, I don't know. Like you said, I'm glad I'm married now too. I don't know that I could go back into the dating scene in this climate. I don't know if I could do it, even with things like Tinder and Bumble and whatever the hell else is out there. You know what I mean? I think it would be hard, regardless of how I look and how I present myself and how awkward or not awkward I am or whatever. I don't know. It would be tough for me personally. I think I can already see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I made the joke about being a volcel, but it's like if I was single, I probably legitimately would try to become gymcel, because I'm like into this working out life. I would just fucking do that. I just focus on only just going to the gym all the time. You know, like that would be my thing.
And I wouldn't blame you. I mean, there's benefits to that. You know, you're working out, you're losing weight, you're getting the blood flowing. You know, that's good. That's good for your body, good for your mind.
Like crippling depression from loneliness.
Yeah. Oh man,
that's the positive.
It's amazing to me that something as simple as walking for half an hour can help with people who have depression issues. Where were we? No, that's a good point. I miss the days when we did stand up, man. I look back at those days with a lot of fondness. Because those are those are just super fun times. And we'll never have that again, obviously, but at least not for a while, I think. But
yeah, I mean,
man, things have changed so much, because we were doing that 2010, 2011, so that was 8 years ago, 7 years ago.
Probably, yeah.
So it's funny how fast things change in culture and society. I don't know.
True.
You know what? Are you still interested in It's Always Sunny? By the way, does that still appeal to you at all?
I haven't watched it in so long. It's like I would probably still enjoy it, but there's so much stuff to watch. There's so much stuff to do. It's like it's just not on my. It's not in my rotation.
You should watch the season 13 trailer. I watched that tonight, and it's not only slightly topical, it's fucking hilarious. And it kind of relates to some of the stuff we talked about today, believe it or not. So,
did they drop a hard R? Did they do the N word with a hard R?
No, but I won't spoil it. You just have to watch it.
Okay.
Well,
I only watch trailers with hard R's.
You know what? that reminds me, my mom used to work for. It was like something foundation for the retarded, and they don't call themselves that anymore. I'm pretty sure.
No.
But in the '90s, that was a word that you just used, and I guess you didn't worry about offending people with it. So it's funny
Just like grids.
Grids.
Grids. That was a word that you just used.
Oh.
Do you know what that is?
I don't actually.
Gay-related immune deficiency. It's what they called AIDS before they realized that people other than just gay guys could get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
You never heard of that?
I never heard of that. I did hear about the candy called AIDS that lost a lot of sales.
The fake chocolate.
Yeah, because of AIDS in the '80s. So that was unfortunate.
That must have been tough for them.
I was getting gas one time, and I saw that like on the gas pump it tells you like we take Visa, MasterCard, and then some kind of a thing called ISIS, and I was like, oh, that's an unfortunate name. Well, we're almost going on an hour here, Tim. Do you want to kind of wrap her up, or what do you think?
Yeah. Let's wrap it up for the fam.
Definitely some good discussions tonight. We should definitely have more of these.
Yeah, we should.
But I don't have anything to promote. I worked on a 48-hour film festival challenge a few weeks ago. That was fun. I have something else in the works right now. I think I sent you. I don't know if I sent you the script. I have a script that I wrote recently that I'm trying to get off the ground. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
You've read my stuff before. You can read it again, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So I have that cooking. I'm trying to get a new job. Trying to be a dad and a husband. At least a decent.
That's important.
A decent husband. And a decent dad and a decent human being. So that's where I'm at right now. What about you? What do you want to promote?
This Week in Wrestling podcast that I do. Getting geared up. I mean, I know it's only September, but getting geared up for the end of the year. Psychology is Dead stuff. Top 50 wrestlers will be coming out soon. Follow my Twitter at LuchonDead. That's about it for me.
Follow me at Dr. Spaceman. That's Doctor with a K. 30 Rock, you get that reference, Dr. Spaceman. Follow me on there. Follow me. I'm still at Devil Boots on Untapped, so you can still check that out.
Yeah. That's the only place that you're at. Any other De La Boots are not officially licensed.
Exactly. And that's it, Tim. I don't know if we had 3 Bs tonight. Do you want to skip that, or do you?
No, we don't.
All right. Well, we'll just say good night and good luck.